auditing in mind. The committees themselves don't assessment of value delivered. So since the Auditor General's office is actually a servant of Parliament, the Auditor General's office is actually meant for Parliament to help us to audit and report to us so that we can then do our oversight using the information that they have provided. So I'm saying that going forward, when it comes to performance of ministries and not financial audits, I think when it comes to the performance, it should go to the sector subcommittees. And that is the argument that I'm making, that in this instance, these are performance-related reports. We should go to the committees. Yes, because you see, the Auditor General's report, my argument is there are two types of reports that they could present. The report on the finance, how the money was spent. Then there is also a report on the actual delivery of value. And I'm saying that the two are different. If it is the finances, the Public Accounts Committee is the one that should look at it. But if it is performance, I think that the sector committees should take it. Even if we don't want the sector committees to take it, I think the leadership of the sector committee should join the Public Accounts Committee so that they can see the extent to which actual delivery is taking place in their sectors. Otherwise, the Public Accounts Committee is sitting there. They were not involved in the debate. They were not involved in the analysis that went into the allocations to the various institutions. And so they don't get the kind of information that you get from an audit report to evaluate their own sectors. I hear you saying that they on their own should go to the field in pursuit of their oversight responsibility and find out whether the toilets were built and whether they were built up to standard and etc. That's what I hear you saying. And I'm saying that they could also be helped by the Auditor General having gone to the field, having seen the buildings, and now present a report to Parliament. The sector committee should have access to that report and participate in evaluating that report. That's my argument.
Honorable members, I always indicate that if the farm is not long, your water container must not be big. Clear in my mind that the referral to the Public Account Committee is correct.
So, Mr. Speaker,
yes,
thank you.
Yes.
But I just wanted to correct some impression. I didn't say that. I said that the ministries prepare and present to Parliament performance reports. Those are referred to the committees. But any report that is coming from the Auditor General should be referred to the public accounts. We should not, it doesn't matter whatever it is. Once you allow a ministry, you allow the Auditor General to come and send external auditors to audit you and bring the report to Parliament, it should be to the public accounts and let public accounts deal with it. But once the ministry prepares what we call performance reports, that has to go to reports. So that one is, the Auditor General public accounts has nothing to do with performance audits. And every ministry has to bring its performance audit here and lay it. And once you lay it, and normally you should lay it, not the ministers. Last week, some were late. It is referred to the appropriate committee, and the committee to use justice to it. But once you allow the Auditor General to present his report, if you make a mistake and refer it to the committee again, it will not be in order. We'll be introducing something we've never done as a parliament. But Mr. Speaker, I think your ruling is in order. Thank you very much.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, let's read Order 22 for the exercise that we are involved in. Order 2293 says, pursuant to Article 1872 and 5 of the Constitution, the Public Accounts Committee shall examine the public accounts, of Ghana, showing the appropriation and utilization of the amounts, money granted by Parliament to meet the public expenditures of the government and other accounts laid before Parliament. So accounts. Now you yourself, I listened to you. I don't know if you listened to yourself, but in your presentation you said that where it is a performance audit, it should go to the sector.
No.
This is, oh, I heard him. He said it.
No, Honorable Yarga.
He said it. Oh, I paid attention. He said it. You can play the tape again. Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Yarga, what he said is that if it is a performance report,
yes,
then the performance report will go to the sector committee. But if it is the audit performance report, then the audit performance report should go to the public account. So there is a distinction between performance report and audit performance reports.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the point I'm making is that the Auditor General is now moving beyond just examination of accounts, and they are going into actual performance audits. What is the difference between a performance audit of the Auditor General and a performance report of the sector minister? Maybe I should be educated on that by people in the accounting field.
Yes, Honorable Former Minister, you have that.
So, Mr. Speaker, just to provide some information to help. For example, when you talk of the audit performance reports, a ministry, a department, or agency may be allocated an amount of money to, let's say, build a number of schools. The audit of the accounts will be to examine whether the accounting practices and principles that have been applied will represent what they call in auditing a true and fair view of what the situation may be. Then when it comes to performance, they will want to actually inspect and count and be sure that these schools have been built. They are both functions of audit. It is very different from the APRs, or the annual performance reports that are prepared by the ministries in conjunction with the NDPC, actually. The ministries don't just do them themselves. They do it in conjunction with the NDPC. And for those ones, they are focused on determining inputs, KPIs, outputs, impact. So you notice that those APRs are not exactly the same that the auditors prepare. Those are the ones that go to the sector committees, which the Honorable Former Minister for Defense is referring to. But the audit ones, be they about the counting of the buildings or on the accounts, they are both to go to the Public Accounts Committee. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Our members, let's make progress. I think we've presented the papers. We'll finish with the A, and we have done the B. So, Majority Leader, are we doing the C?
Mr. Speaker, I think we can take a few statements that you have admitted.
Second Deputy Speaker should take the chair. Minority Leader.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, we've had these two motions pending for over 2 weeks. Motion 16 and motion 15. Mr. Speaker, I don't know whether, as the second deputy takes the chair, we are going to continue with the debate on motion number 16. As for that of 15, it hasn't been moved at all.
Well, regarding these two motions, I don't have a clear instructions from the Right Honorable Speaker. So maybe I'll have to confer
Very well
with him.
Mr. Speaker, but I pray that the clerk at table, will be minded by the urgency of these motions, as stated by Mr. Speaker himself, to draw attention, because media review will soon come. This matter is a nagging matter.
Honorable Leader, these are motions that he wants to take himself. So I believe appropriately he will do so.
Mr. Speaker, I agree with you, but I'm saying that the clerk at table has a duty. This is not a matter really for you, though you've taken it upon yourself to pursue. Yes. But Mr. Speaker, it is your matter that we are appealing. And you are being very magnanimous by saying you remind Mr. Speaker. But it is the clerk at table who must remind Mr. Speaker to make time for this one. But Mr. Speaker, the motion 15, I don't think that one has any big problem at all. I don't know why our friends opposite are running away from this all-important motion. I don't know why they are running away, because the chief whip of the majority caucus seem not interested in this all-important motion that seeks to enrich the jurisprudence of this House. Mr. Speaker, this is a motion that you should take interest in. So I don't know why the avant-garde of government business appears not interested.
Minority Leader, with all due respect, are you aware the Speaker will want to take those motions himself?
Oh, Mr. Speaker, it is our duty as leaders to encourage that to happen. So I'm appealing to him. He has a duty.
But my question is not answered. Are you aware?
Mr. Speaker, the chief whip of government has a duty to work with the minority in approaching the Speaker. I'm a co-sponsor. Look at the motion. Look at the motion.
Honorable members, let's make progress.
The motion has joint applicants.
Let's have progress.
Well, Mr. Speaker, this is an important matter.
Yes.
It has delayed for over 2 weeks. So it's not a business of the House. I don't know why you guys are running away from these motions. You are running away from these motions.
Honorable members, we have 2 statements. One standing in the name of Honorable Patricia Apiaje, and the other one standing in the name of Honorable Emmanuel Kwesi Bejra. Statement on the International Day of Parliamentarianism, standing in the name of Honorable Emmanuel Kwesi Bejra, Member of Parliament for Ho West and Chairman of the OGP caucus in Parliament. Okay, very well. Then we have another one standing in the name of Honorable Patricia Apiaje. That's a statement by Honorable Patricia Apiaje calling for national support for the Black Queens ahead of the CAF Women's African Cup of Nations. Honorable Patricia Apiaje, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to draw Parliament and the nation's attention to our Black Queens, Ghana's senior women's national football team, who are currently in Morocco preparing for the upcoming Confederation of African Football Women's African Cup of Nations. Ghana's Black Queens embodies not only sporting talent, but also they are national ambassadors who display resilience ambition, and gender equity. Mr. Speaker, whereas the Black Stars, Ghana's men's senior team, have traditionally enjoyed abundant physical and financial support, the same cannot be said of our Black Queens. The Black Queens have consistently delivered outstanding performances, often surpassing expectations, and have achieved remarkable milestones with meager resources in their international engagements. Mr. Speaker, it is important to emphasize that the Black Queens were the first senior national team to qualify Ghana for a FIFA World Cup when they earned their place at the 1999 FIFA Women's World Cup in the United States. Mr. Speaker, this historic achievement preceded Ghana's Black Stars World Cup qualification in 2006. In the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, the Black Queens have been runners-up 3 times in 1998, 2002, and 2006, and have qualified for the tournament 12 times since its inception in 1998. Over the past year, the Black Queens built significant momentum, scoring 34 goals and conceding only 2, recording 10 wins in 11 matches and establishing themselves as a formidable force in African women's football. The team has recently demonstrated renewed focus and determination through preparatory friendly matches, securing a 3-1 victory over Malawi and a 4-2 win over Benin. These are not minor milestones. They are compelling evidence that when given the opportunity, our women excel beyond measure. These are not minor milestones. They are compelling evidence that when given the opportunity, our women excel beyond measure. Today, Mr. Speaker, we are privileged to live in an era where, for the first time in Ghana's history, the Vice President of the Republic is a woman. This is not just a symbolic milestone. It is an emphatic signal that women's empowerment is no longer an aspiration rhetoric, but a national commitment. In July 2024, the 8th Parliament passed the Affirmative Action Gender Equity Act, Act 1121, affirming our collective resolve to institutionalize gender equity across all spheres of public and private endeavor. The passage of this legislation means the empowerment of Ghanaian women must move from verbal commitments to visible action, and it must be demonstrated in every sector, including sports. Our Black Queens deserve the same level of national support, visibility, and investment that have traditionally been accorded to their male counterparts. This is not merely a matter of fairness, but a strategic imperative to inspire young girls across our country and strengthen Ghana's global reputation. Mr. Speaker, it will interest you to know that the United States women's national team is the most successful because of the strategic attention and investments made towards the team over the years by the country. Accordingly, Mr. Speaker, I wish to respectfully call on the Minister for Sports and Recreation to prioritize all necessary logistical, technical, financial, and motivational support to ensure the Black Queens represent Ghana with dignity and confidence. We also call on corporate organizations, development partners, and well-meaning Ghanaians to increase investments and financial support for the Black Queens. Also, we call on the media to raise awareness and whip up enthusiasm for the Black Queens campaign. Our commitments and citizens should rally behind the team and demonstrate visibly support across all platforms to encourage them to rise to the occasion. Right, Mr. Speaker? True empowerment is measured by the depth of our investments in women's potential and the seriousness with which we match our commitments with action. This is our moment to show that when we say our time is now, it is a time that includes our women. Let us rally behind the Black Queens and ensure they return not only as competitors, but as champions who had the full backing of a grateful nation, Ghana, for that matter. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity.
Thank you very much. Yes. Honorable Member for
South Tongue.
North Tongue, Central Tongue, South Tongue, yes. Let's hear you. Not more than 10 minutes. Not more than 5 minutes, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to comment on the statement ably made by the second minority, deputy minority leader. I must say that it is very necessary we pay key attention to our women, especially in football. Of course, yes, it's said that what men do, women do better. But I dare to say it's not significant when it comes to football. I particularly pay attention to the women team, especially when they are playing. Not necessarily because they are doing better than the men on the field of play, but because it makes it more interesting to watch the women play. Sometimes you wonder whether they are women or they are men. And it makes it very interesting. No, I mean their approach to the game is not seen in a very feminine manner, but very combative. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So I want to say that the hue and cry we hear usually after the tournament of unpaid allowances, it's so loud, and sometimes you hear that they are lodged in hostels, and the threat is that until they are paid their bonuses, they will not leave the hostels. I believe that, like she said, we should give them more attention like we do to the men. The call for corporate organizations to come to our aid and support our women is very apt, because you see most of them drifting towards the Black Stars and the male-dominated teams. And so I believe that corporate Ghana should also come to the aid of the women and make sure they support them. On this note, I want to, Mr. Speaker, congratulate the team that is doing so well. And it's our prayer that when they get to the World Cup, they do better than they did in the last tournament. Let me pay glowing tributes to some few of them: Doris Bodua, Stella Nyamiche, Princess Mafu, Prisla Edubia, Evelyn Bedu, Grace Asantiwa Kompo, Kerry Makati, Afi Amenyeku, Azuma Bugri, and especially Blessing Shai Agbomaji, who comes from my community in Potame, in the South Town constituency. Let me say that she's doing so well, and we pray that she continues to lift the banner and the name of Southton higher and higher. With these few words, Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity, and I thank the Deputy Leader for a good job done. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Yes, let me go to Okre.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I want to commend my Deputy Leader for this clarion call. Mr. Speaker, if you look at modern records, by far, the Black Queens are doing better than the Black Stars because they have been able to qualify for the African Cup of Nations. Mr. Speaker, this clarion call by Honorable Apiaje is something that we must take seriously because we pay so much attention to the Black Stars to the neglect of their female counterparts. Meanwhile, statistics that she read indicates that these young ladies are doing very well. Generally, we ought to all pay particular attention to women in sports. And so, using the Black Queens, we need the support. We don't see the usual euphoria that would have come if it was the male counterparts that were participating in this tournament. And so all of us, I think that the media also need to step up their game in promoting the Black Queens. And all of us must get involved because these young ladies are doing very well. And it is important that we don't just let these young ladies down. We also build successive teams and pay attention to these academies and these coach teams who are nurturing these young women in the various communities. I believe that when we pay special attention to our women in sports, we are going to be able to advance the cause of sports and football in this country, and not just the male counterparts. Let us all get involved as even parliamentarians, as community leaders, and then the National Sports Authority. I trust my good friend, who is now the director there, Mr. Ampofankra, and his team to be able to up their game in terms of the promotion of the Black Queens so that they can.
Beauty. Mr. Speaker, this is a statement coming from no less a person than the Deputy Minority Leader that we yield to the women in this chamber to comment on this matter, Mr. Speaker, and the third is another male. Mr. Speaker, the women are here. They should rise to the occasion and comment on this matter because this is about promoting your own gender in sports. The fact that you've been failed in government appointment doesn't mean you should. Yes, Mr. Speaker, the president promised 30%. The president promised 30%. If you look at cabinet, only about 2 women are in cabinet. If you see all the CEO appointments, few are women. We have women in this chamber. We have women, even board chair. A lot of the women in this chamber have not been recognized. Salaga South.
Leader.
You know, Zanato Ajiman Rollins.
Leader.
Hajia. You know, we know all the women in this chamber. Mr. Speaker.
Let me listen to your colleague.
But Mr. Speaker, the point is that this.
Your point is well made.
No, Mr. Speaker, I need to conclude. This statement is coming from a female colossus. Madam Patricia Peje, Mayor of Kumasi, Deputy Minister, Deputy Majority Leader, and now Deputy Minority Leader, has made a statement, and we don't want to give the chance to women to contribute. And it is clear that our women have been boxed into a tight corner. Even in government, we are seeing few women being considered.
Leader.
Look at the deputy ministerial appointment.
Leader.
Deputy communication, deputy transport. There is no woman, no deputy for foreign affairs.
Leader.
What is the government waiting for? Mr. Speaker, I will rest my case. This is not the time to debate. When the Honorable Bejre's statement comes, that is where we are going to deal with this issue of gender equity. Because I've seen his statement, it is all about gender equity. So I will rest my case on this matter.
Yes, Honorable Majority Chief Whip.
Speaker, I thank you for the... Mr. Speaker, I am even struggling how to interrupt him because he's neither debating nor commenting. Mr. Speaker, is the minority leader suggesting that the women in this chamber belong to only the majority caucus? That cannot be. There are women that are backing him. He's happy. No, your statement suggested that it's only women from our side who supposedly. So first of all, as leader, you ought not to speak in that manner. Then two, the suggestion that women are being boxed into a corner can also not be correct. Our women, and I know the women, even on his side, they always rise to the occasion. Just like now, the deputy minority leader has simply issued a statement, and we are being given the opportunity to comment on it. So he cannot suggest that the women are being boxed into a corner. So the minority leader is, with all due respect, out of order completely. The women will rise to the occasion, and they'll prove that they'll rise to the occasion with this statement. With the next one that will come, again they'll rise to the occasion. So, Mr. Speaker, let me take my seat so that you give the woman the opportunity to have a bite on this matter.
Leader, you phrase a fundamental issue. I'm going to give the women
out of. Mr. Speaker, this is a House of Records. When the Chief Whip rose, I thought he was going to rebut a statement regarding the number of women in government. No. He was loudly silent on that important matter. At cabinet, the president brought the list of his ministers here. Only 2 women in cabinet. The president is appointing board chairpersons. Few are women. The deputy ministerial appointment. We have many women on your side. The president cannot cross and appoint from this side. You have many women, 40 women in your government, in this parliament. Just a few of them have made it to cabinet. Just 2. Mr. Speaker, this is a serious matter. This is a government that is not committed to gender equity. The government is not committed to gender equity. Look at even committees. How many women are in committee leadership on your side? Mr. Speaker, this is a serious matter. This is a serious matter. We cannot take it for granted. How many women are in government? CEO appointment, how many women? In the NDC government, how many women have been relegated to the background in this government? If you have evidence that you've appointed more women, rebut me. This is a House of Records. I rest my case, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, let me...
Mr. Speaker,
Leader,
Mr. Speaker, we have the first female vice president of the Republic of Ghana. It came from us. Mr. Speaker, for the records, we have a female deputy chief of staff. Mr. Speaker, we have female ministers of state. Mr. Speaker, we have females appointed as mayors and MMDCs. So, Mr. Speaker, per our practice and our rules, when you make a comment and you are being rebutted, the member need not to leave the chamber. But I see that the minority leader cannot take the punches. So he's absconded from the chamber. I pray that he returns. But Mr. Speaker, that said, may we return to the business that presently affronts us. So members can be given opportunity to make their comments on the statement. Minority leader, return to the chamber.
My brother, now the discussion is that I should focus on the ladies. So just hold on. Let me first and foremost give to, I'll come to you, Honorable Member for Salaga West.
Salaga South.
Salaga South, yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, before I say anything regarding the statement, I just want this House to note that the men who stood up to speak for women just succeeded in disrupting the activities of the chamber. I'm sure if they had allowed due space, by now 3 or 4 women would have spoken to the very important statement made by the deputy minority leader. So, Mr. Speaker, I'll urge you in the future, please allow us to fight our own fight. The men are just here doing politics and filibustering. We want to speak to the issues. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of the statement, thank you for the opportunity, and let me commend my senior, my mentor, and one of the most accomplished women politicians of this country. The deputy minority leader has written her name in the history of this country. And so for her to stand up today to make this statement on behalf of the Black Queens is a testimony of her continued strive to put women issues on the forefront of the agenda of this country. And I commend her highly for the statement. Those of us at the back, we keep looking up to her. We watch her closely. We listen to her. We pay attention to everything that she does. And we try to emulate her. Mr. Speaker, the issue she's raised is a very, very important issue. And although she's raised it within the context of supporting and sponsoring effective sponsorship for the women football team, I also think that she's done so because she knows that the team, the Black Queen team, has promise and has prospects. And if we paid attention to them, they might probably be the Black team of Ghana that would deliver us a gold at the continental or world level. I want to assure the maker of the statement that we've imbibed, especially the data that she said. She just honed it home. And it's something that we all need to think about and look at how to address it. I'll suggest that maybe in the future, if it's not too late, because I think I saw that the tournament is starting on the 5th of July, if I'm right. If it's not too late, maybe the Women Caucus should have paid the team a visit in camp to reassure them, to relate and engage them, so that they know that we are keeping an eye on what they are doing. When we wait till they get to the tournament front and we speak on their behalf, it might not yield the same results as a local engagement here would have. The second thing I want to say, Mr. Speaker, the issue of sponsorship, to make sure that the team is well-resourced and well-prepared, still the Women Caucus in this parliament can lead such an effort. The Women Caucus, we can become patrons of the female soccer team in this country, lead the effort with corporate Ghana to raise funds to support this team. We know the situation where it gets to sports ministry and either budgets have not been released or there's no enough money. Let's take the course. Let's walk the talk. Let's go out there to corporate Ghana and tell them that we need these women to perform and excel at the world level. And I'm sure we'll have financiers for them to enable them give off their best at tournament. Last but not least, Mr. Speaker, last year, Mr. Right Honorable Speaker organized the tournament for the Parliamentary Week celebration. And some of us were, I think I was supposed to be the goalkeeper. By the time I got there, someone had worn my jersey. So I became the number 9. I nearly scored a goal, Mr. Speaker. So I'm speaking to my auntie, Honorable Patricia Piaget. Some of us who want to go to Morocco to cheer the team up. Let's put it together. Let's work on that and get the women out there to go and cheer the Black Queens in Morocco. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Let me go to, nobody's here. Let me go to the Gender Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And let me also take the opportunity to thank the Honorable Deputy Minority Leader for the statement made in support of the Black Queens. Today, as we sit, before I go into the details of it, I just want to thank the Minority Leader for his concern for women's empowerment. However, I just want to also add that the issues around women's empowerment, in fact, if we have equity or equality, we wouldn't even be seated here having to pass laws and policies being approved for us to, get more women into leadership positions. But because we don't have, that is why we are all making efforts. That is why we are all making efforts to get more women into leadership positions. What I would say is that today, as we speak, His Excellency has promised and pledged. There's every indication that he's working towards that pledge. For the first time, in fact, it's taken us over 60 years after independence for us to have the first female vice president. And for us to say that Her Excellency, it's one of the achievements of this country. We are hoping that as time goes on, we'll have more and more women in leadership positions. We applaud you for supporting us. However, the issues of gender equality is not just about ticking the box. We want the women where it matters most. We don't just want to add to the numbers and say that they want 20 women. I'm saying we don't just. We are getting 20 women because we have to get 20 women. But we also want to get the women in the critical areas that it matters most. So in addition to fighting for women to get to leadership positions, we are also looking at the critical areas that we are placing women. I think that is the fight. There's nothing too strange about that. That it is not just about ticking the box, but it is about ensuring that we are putting our money where our heart is. And that is the critical thing I want us to do. We've also said that football unites the nation. And so it will be good that beyond the statements we make, as part of the efforts, we will see ourselves, not just the Women's Caucus, but all of Parliament, and Mr. Speaker, your good office, joining us to go and motivate our women footballers. It will be a good thing for them to see us all together, knowing that we are cheering them. And this is the only time that we don't want to also say that because it is the women, only the women should play. We are saying that gender issues are national issues. And so, Mr. Speaker, if my honorable minority leader thinks that we should come together, which is the concern of all of us, I think that he should also provide leadership and say that today, let the minority and the majority come together and move to where the women are and motivate them. I'm sure corporate organizations will also come together and follow us. We want women on every bench of leadership. We want women there. And we want women most at the critical areas of this nation as well. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has showed the way, and I believe that all of us will follow suit. In concluding, I'm just trying to say that let's start from the known to the unknown, and let's do the little things with the coming into force of the Affirmative Action Act to do every little effort, put in every little effort to ensure that we increase the numbers, and even more so at where it matters most. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Let me go to the Minister for Fisheries, who is also a woman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Whilst commending the maker of the statement and aligning myself with the attributes, virtuous attributes that have been assigned her by previous speakers. I like to emphasize the fact that it is important that we support women in all endeavors. And I like it very much. Even the name of the female football team, Black Queens, suggests that we see something in them, and therefore the nation must support such endeavors. It is not just about kicking a ball on a field of play. It is about courage. It is about ability and capacity. And therefore, it's important that we recognize all that. May I put on record as well that the women on this side, to the extent that one speaks in support of womanhood, we appreciate the comments of the minority leader. But we also want to state that we don't need anybody to speak for us. We are strong women. We are women of valor. We went through the electoral process just like any man in this hall, and we can stand up for ourselves and speak for ourselves. The other thing is that I sit in cabinet, and when I look around, I see more than 2 women in cabinet. I also want us to put on record that there's been a lot of women appointed, and of course, there is room for more. So when the point is made, it is appreciated, but it is not to be put in a state as if nothing has been done or just little has been done. Of course, as women advocates, women activists, we want more. We want to see more of us in the spaces that matter. When we talk about gender, it is not about woman or man. It is about the relationships between men and women, and especially around discourses and decisions that share resources between these genders. And so when we talk about that, it's important that we look at what is being allocated to deal with women's issues versus what is being allocated to deal with men's issues. I stand, Mr. Speaker, to support the maker of the statement, and looking at it broadly, it should not only focus on women in sports, but it should focus on women along the different strata. Women are not a homogeneous group. We are different groups of women, and so we should look at support for women across the different strata so that together we move this economy, we move this country, because it is doable. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Let him come to leadership. Okay, let me listen to Honorable Gloria Wusu first, then I come to leadership.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. I rise to support the statement by Honorable Patricia Appiagyei. Mr. Speaker, the Black Queens are doing so well, and we must support them in the way we can as a country. Mr. Speaker, when you come to my constituency, Trobo, we have a lot of women doing well.
Honorable Gloria, address me.
Mr. Speaker, when you come to Trobo constituency, we have a lot of women doing well in sports. And I will urge the Sports Minister and Ghana Football Association to support women in sports because they get a little support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'll give the opportunity to another woman. No, Adam, no, today is not your time. Yes, Honorable Member for Nsita.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I would like to comment on the Minority Deputy Leader, Honorable Patricia Appiagyei. Mr. Speaker, I would like to, we need to motivate the women or the Black Queens so that they can do more. The government needs to support them financially, encourage them, And Ghanaian women especially need to motivate them and remember them in prayers so that they will have more ego to work for Mother Ghana. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this great opportunity.
Thank you. Now, the last lady, Honorable Member for Tiwa East.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to thank the maker of the statement for bringing to fore the role of women in sports. And also like to encourage the Black Queens and let them know that the sky is not even the limit. There's more they can do. And also to government, to tell government to consistently resource them, to enable them take advantage of proper training and other things that they will need to help them succeed. It's not just about the men, but also the women. These days, you have women's league all around the world. And I'll be very, very happy if the Ghana Football Association will think of coming up with a women's league, as is done in other places, because that will be the training ground, that will be the rich resource, the capacity. Wish our Black Queens a success. And also to the coach, to the whole team, that we are solidly behind them. And we pray and hope that something better, something good will come out of this. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, let me now turn to... No, I have to allow a member for Doma East. Is it Doma East? Yes. Yes, Honorable, let's hear you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. I will commend Honorable Patricia Appiagyei, my mentor, for making such a beautiful statement. Mr. Speaker, though a bill is passed for equity and equality, yet the anatomy and physiology of women make it a bit difficult to achieve our aim as women in sports. When it comes to equality, congratulations to the able ladies for forming the team. Therefore, I will encourage the Black Queens for their effort and their devotion. I wish them good luck so that they come home with victory to make the nation proud. Thank you, Mr. Victor.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, I will now turn to leadership. Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, let me thank Honorable Patricia Appiagyei for bringing to the fore this very important statement. Mr. Speaker, women need support, be it in academia or in the area of sports or in the area of governance. They need to be supported, they need to be recognized, they need to be offered equal opportunities. It is through offering them such equal opportunities that you can evaluate their capacity to do the work, and you can then know what talent they have. So, Speaker, if you look at our Constitution, for instance, Article 78, and I would want to have your leave to read and do so aloud. 78.1. It says, ministers of state shall be appointed by the president with the prior approval of parliament from among members of parliament or persons qualified to be elected as members of parliament, except that the majority of ministers of state shall be appointed from among members of parliament. So, Speaker, I'm adding my voice to the earlier submission by my respected colleague, who is also the Minister for Gender. In her submissions earlier, she underscored the fact that women are required in critical areas and not just to add to the numbers. Mr. Speaker, I find this extremely curious and very rich. This statement, Mr. Speaker, without misconstruing its effects, is suggesting that, for instance, this constitutional provision that requires majority of ministers to be appointed from Parliament does not matter. When I raised the earlier point that there are fewer women in this government, especially when it came to the ministerial appointment, we have her gender minister, we have the fisheries minister, we have tourism, Mr. Speaker, and then we have trade and industry. Out of the lot, when the Constitution says majority of ministers must come from Parliament, Mr. Speaker, at the cabinet level, there's so many ministers that were appointed. Just these 4 out of 40. It's of great concern. It doesn't show a government that is committed to gender equity. It's not as if the talent is not there. It's not as if the women are not available. They are. Let me move from the cabinet level or the mainstream ministerial appointment and come to even the deputies. How many deputies made it? Only a handful. A lot of them are here. And if you look at their credentials, the minimum you find is a second degree. Quite a lot of them. So, Mr. Speaker, it is of great concern. And I'm sure if the honorable member, who is also the Minister for Gender, had paid due regard to my submissions, she wouldn't have said the government is not interested in adding to the numbers. Mr. Speaker, if you even look at the MMDC appointment, we have 260 that have been appointed. Only 28 are women. Only 28. Well, rebut me. Only 28 are women. How many then? Mr. Speaker, again, look at the enactment on gender equity. The enactment on gender equity. Act 1121. Mr. Speaker, it makes clear what is expected of government. It's a different argument if the women are not available in this chamber. The Constitution talks about majority coming from Parliament. You have an enactment that is calling on government to at least look at 30%. Can we say that we have met this 30% threshold required of us by the law, a law passed by the people's representatives? And we cannot talk about it? We should talk about it. If I look at the credentials of the members of Parliament on the majority side, the 40 women, all of them have the essential qualifications, the credentials to make it to that very top. What is happening? So, Mr. Speaker, we cannot do wishy-washy on this matter. The key ministerial appointments, we didn't find them there. And even the CEO appointment, the boards, we are not finding the women if they couldn't make it for the
Honorable Minority Leader, I think the statement was on women football.
Mr. Speaker, but you heard the gender minister talk about the appointment. I'm just adding up the point.
No, I can appreciate, what you are talking about.
Very well. Mr. Speaker, very well. Mr. Speaker, I speak generally. I speak generally. So, Mr. Speaker, all I want to put across is that whilst the maker of the statement is inviting this House to acknowledge the contribution of women and that women must be supported, we shouldn't limit it to only the area of sports. We should see such recognition of women and what they can do in government as well. We should pay attention to other areas. We shouldn't limit ourselves to sports. That's the point I want to underscore. That is the burden of my call. That in this very House, we've enacted a law that allows us to create equal opportunity. And in fact, the principle of equal opportunity is even a constitutional bona fide. So we don't even need an enactment. It's a constitutional bona fide. So we ask ourselves, to what extent have we respected this? And you have 40 women sitting to the right of Mr. Speaker on the NDC side, and when appointments are being made, they've all been ignored. Only a handful. How can we have a professor for Esikado Ketan in this House and has not been seen? It's not possible. Mr. Speaker, I would want to encourage all stakeholders who support gender equity to rise to the occasion, support our women. I'm told they play on Friday. They are playing Morocco on the 5th. They play in Morocco on the 5th. They need all our support. MPs must be the lead cheerleaders in this matter. And I'm sure through such encouragement, they would also do their best for their country. To the Black Queens, I say I wish you well. You may not have the needed resources, but please be inspired by your sense of patriotism and make Ghana proud. Mr. Speaker, I shall rest my case without more, having made sufficient points on this important matter. And I pray that, Mr. Speaker, government would have a second look at the Constitution and then the enactment and do the needful. Mr. Speaker, I don't know why the majority leader, Mr. Speaker, I don't know why the majority leader is in this chamber so anxious to respond to me. Mr. Speaker, he has a woman who are capable. Mr. Speaker, he has many women who can respond to me. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Doyo is here. The last time when I raised an important matter, Honorable Doyo was at hand to address the issues. Why is the majority leader so anxious on this occasion? Mr. Speaker, it is his right. If he wants to respond, so be it. But I know I've raised fundamental points. I thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Yes, majority leadership. But before then, Honorable Minister for Gender would like to make some, according to her, some corrections. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, respectfully, I do not mean to rebuttal or anything, but because this House is a house of record, I would humbly like to correct this, that I never said His Excellency was not interested in appointing women. I said, and I gave examples that beyond just taking the number that I have appointed this number of women, it is also looking at critical areas that we place these women that are appointed. And so I humbly want this record to be corrected that I mentioned that I appreciate his concerns, but beyond his concerns, we are also looking at empowerment at critical areas. So our voices where it matters most, including the numbers. That is what I said, and I'm sure the records bear me right.
Thank you very much. Now, my majority leadership. Yes, majority leader.
Thank you very much. As for my brother, the minority leader, who has suddenly become a major gender advocate. Mr. Speaker, when he was made leader, his side had 20 women. Today, there are only 10. He couldn't defend even the 20 women that were given to him as leader. He lost half of it. Today, he has only 10 women. And he's the one who is pontificating about gender and about women and being protected and being appointed, when you couldn't even defend the 20 that was given to you. As a majority leader and a leader of government business, with a government in power, you had all the women and you couldn't defend them. All the resources. You lost half of the women. Today you are here telling us about the need to defend women and to ensure that women are protected in office and appointed to offices. My late president said, do you fear them? Do you fear them? Fix the problem in your house. Protect the women in your house before you come and do advocacy for the women on this side. Mr. Speaker, on that note, let me also join them to encourage our women. I was the Minister for Sports at one point, and I know that the struggle for women to be given fair treatment so that they can realize their full potential in the area of football has been a long-drawn one, but they are making a lot of progress. I recall a year that we were participating in the World Cup, I think in Canada, and I flew into the US and connected to Canada, drove straight to the airport just to be there for our women national team for the opening match. And immediately we finished the match, I drove back to the airport, took a flight, and came back to Ghana. So I went to Canada, and I was in Canada for just barely 4 hours, just to support our women, because they were complaining that when they are playing, we don't show support. So I think over the years, they've enjoyed quite some support. I think also that there has been some reforms in terms of the bonuses to bring them to a reasonable level. What is needed is for us to continue to encourage and support them. I am part of a team that is working very closely with the Minister for Youth and Sports to engage in some fundraising to support football. And I believe that when we are able to raise the kind of financing that we are looking at, we will be able to give the national teams the support that they need. Last week, 2 weeks ago, when Cabinet met, Cabinet approved that the sports minister should work hard and raise funds and establish a sports fund that will be able to support football and also our women in football. Now, I just want to address a few issues that the minority leader raised. I don't have the exact figures, but I know that the number that he mentioned in relation to MMDC is not accurate. They are definitely more than that. We will check the figures and communicate to this House. But I think on the issue of appointments and the percentages, anybody who understands our constitutional architecture knows that you may try very hard, But the base that you are given as a president to work with will definitely be a determinant of how far you can go. For instance, when you say that you must have 30% ministers. Now, if you are drawing your ministers largely from your parliamentary team, and your constituencies don't elect the number of women that you require into the parliamentary team, it becomes a constraint. It becomes a constraint to be able to meet that requirement. So we'll continue to work hard. I think that let's focus on the political parties. Political parties should try and make sure that in seats that they consider safe, that they structure their constitutions in such a way that they are able to guarantee that they will get women to contest. I will not describe Boku Central as a safe seat. You know, there is a seat that has moved from NDC to MPP, from NDC to MPP. And so go to Ashanti region, where the MPP has very safe seats. Go to the Volta region, where NDC has very safe seats. In those areas, for instance, Winneba, which is a safe seat of the NPP, Winneba, which is a safe seat of the NPP, we can guarantee that a woman should be the candidate of the NPP, and she will win and come here. If we put a female as the candidate for a Futu Winneba, she will definitely win. And that will show up the women's numbers on your side. So I think that at the level of the political parties, if they guarantee the use of women candidates in safe seats, where parties really, take a decision at National Executive Committee and guarantee the women those seats, we'll have a lot more women. But in the very competitive constituencies, when you force a candidate on them, so I believe that the levers are actually in the hands of our political parties. It is at that level that they can create the base that will enable a president to have a large pool out of which to make the kind of appointments that he will need to meet the targets. But why 30%? Why 30%? Why 30%? Because the women are actually statistically more than the men. If you look at the population of this country, there are more women than men. So if there are more women than men, where is the 30% coming from? On what basis are we saying that there must be a mandatory 30% for a number that is more than 50% when you look at the population of the country? I think we should begin to advocate for women to also be conscious of the need to support fellow women when they contest. When women contest, support them. And the women should have the courage to contest. Women should have the courage to contest. And when women contest, women should vote for them.
Yes. Minority leader.
That is why next time a woman should contest the minority leader. In the primaries.
And the deputy minority leader should support that candidate.
I don't think that 30% is adequate. 30% is inequitable in a situation where the women are more than 50%.
So Parliament got it wrong.
So Parliament even got it wrong. Yes. That's my position on the matter. That's my position on the matter. More women than men. Because that will actually represent the population of this country.
We'll see the minority leader.
And I know that when women are in this chamber, they even do better representing the interests of men. They will do better representing the interests of men. They will not finish the men. Let this chamber that we should be worried. They probably will do better managing our economy. They will do better managing our security. They will do better managing our social welfare system. Because at home, they do better managing those affairs. If they do better at home managing those affairs, I am guaranteed that they will do better managing their affairs in this chamber. And that is why we should have more women. And this is why the NDC as a political party insisted on having a woman as the vice president for the first time in the history of this country. Mr. Speaker, I challenge the MPP that in the next election, I dare them to also put up a woman as a vice presidential candidate. And I know that Mama Pat is a strong candidate from the Ashanti region, started as a mayor, a member of parliament, a deputy minister, and now a deputy leader.
The deputy president.
She clearly is fit to be a running mate.
Yeah, the deputy president.
From the strongest political base of the NPP. Yes. She's guaranteed MPP their base.
Deputy flag.
I challenge the MPP that in the next election, we want to see a woman as the running mate of the NPP. As for us in the NDC, we can only go forward. We can only go forward. Backward, never. Forward, ever. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah. Leader, let's take the second statement. Leader, I beg of you. She begs you. Leader.
Mr. Speaker,
leader.
I am not going to debate him.
Leader.
Mr. Speaker, please, just for the record, the majority, no, please. He's my colleague. At our level, we are able to settle matters. Yeah, but he and I, my respected colleague, the majority leader, said I provided a figure which was not accurate. Meanwhile, he himself was not ready with what he considered accurate. I would prefer that the aspect of a submission to the fact that what I said was not accurate be stepped down. If he brings any figure which is higher than 28, I'm ready to concede. Meanwhile, meanwhile he says that they have a vice president, which is true, it's a fact. But we'll put a woman as chief justice and they are removing her.
Mr. Speaker, I think that nobody has removed the Chief Justice. Nobody has removed the Chief Justice. Nobody has removed the Chief Justice. And I think in this house, we shouldn't prejudice other constitutional processes that are ongoing. We should not prejudice MMDCEs and mayors that are women. The number is about 30, not 28. Not 28. 30, not 28.
Mr. Speaker, if it's 30 and not 28, I take it. I checked it was 28, but you are leader of government business. If you say it is 30, I will concede to the 30 for now and still validate. But that does not change, Mr. Speaker, that 30 does not change the story. Very insignificant, even if it is
the second statement.
The second statement
from Honorable Emmanuel Bejura is going to talk on International Day of Parliamentarianism as a chairman of the OGP caucus in Parliament.
Much for the opportunity to make this statement to mark the International Day of Parliamentarianism, as observed yesterday, 30th June, 2025. This globally recognized day is established by the Interparliamentary Union, IPU, and the United Nations. Invites us to reflect on the important role of Parliament in promoting democracy, good governance, accountability, and inclusive representation for all, including women, youth, and minorities. Mr. Speaker, the theme for this year's commemoration of the International Day of Parliamentarianism is achieving gender equality, action by action. Emphasize the genuine change is achieved through consistent, everyday efforts by individuals, communities, organizations, and governments. Gender equality is a practical necessity for establishing fair, prosperous, and resilient societies. Mr. Speaker, the theme is apt as it addresses the perennial issue of the underrepresentation of women in parliaments worldwide. This is because the lack of gender equality in most parliaments results in a shortage of gender-responsive legislators and policies, which fail to promote participatory democracy and inclusive development. Although progress has been made worldwide, gender equality remains an ongoing endeavor that requires consistent and deliberate effort at all levels. These barriers not only limit individual potential, but also hinder social and economic development. Let me dispel the mistaken impression that achieving equality means making women more like men or vice versa. That is incorrect, Mr. Speaker. Instead, it is about ensuring that everyone, regardless of gender, has equal opportunities and rights. Mr. Speaker, Ghana's parliament has made significant progress in promoting gender equality through legislative, policy, and institutional reforms. An important milestone is the Affirmative Action and Gender Act 2024 at 1121, which mandates a gradual increase in women representation in governance from 30% in 2026 to 50% by the year 2030, along with a gender-responsive budgeting and mechanism for enforcement and accountability. The key institutional efforts include the Women's Caucus, which empowers women MPs to advocate for inclusive policies, and Ladies in Parliament Service, LIPS, which improves women's visibility and capacity within parliamentary structures. Despite this advancement, considerable challenges remain. Female representation still low at only 14.6% in the 2025, placing Ghana 137th worldwide. Structural and cultural barriers, weak enforcement of Gender Equity Act, and limited civic education impede progress. To address these issues, Parliament must enact more substantial reforms, ensure compliance, and strengthen collaboration with civil society to foster a more gender-inclusive and democratic institution. Ghana's parliament has played a vital role in strengthening democracy, encouraging peaceful political transitions, and broadening representation. The 2020 hung parliament, with equal seats held by both major parties, fostered greater scrutiny of executive action and bipartisan collaboration on legislation and development. Parliament has also gained international recognition for its democratic resilience and modernization efforts, including the adoption of new standing orders in 2024. However, challenges remain. Parliament has sometimes struggled to exercise effective oversight in moments of chaos and misconduct, such as the violence in 2021 Speaker's election and partisan walkouts, has damaged Parliament's image. Public trust is further weakening by the disconnect between citizens' expectation and MPs' legislative role, as many Ghanaians prioritize constituency service over lawmaking and oversight. A 2024 survey revealed that only 8% and 2% of citizens value lawmaking and oversight, respectively, and stress the need for increased public education, and institutional reforms. Mr. Speaker, it is essential to note that in commemorating yesterday in Parliament also inaugurates the Open Parliament Steering Committee and launched the Open Parliament Action Plan, a timely and strategic step in Ghana's effort to deepen democratic governance and under the Open Government Partnership. The action plan is structured around 4 key pillars: transparency, accountability, citizen participation, technology, and innovation. It aims to address significant challenges, including limited public access to legislative process, low youth and gender inclusion, and inadequate follow-up on parliamentary decisions. Mr. Speaker, since joining the OGP in 2011, Ghana has made notable strides in promoting transparency, accountability, civic participation, and technology-driven governance. Key reforms under the OGP includes the Right to Information Act, 2019, Public Financial Management Act, and the Office of Special Prosecutor Act, among others. Mr. Speaker, more importantly, the inauguration of the OGP caucus in Parliament, as well as the establishment of the Citizen Bureau, which promotes collaboration between Parliament and civil society organizations, has strengthened citizens' engagement and increased legislative transparency. Ghana's leadership in OGP was recognized at a regional meeting in Kenya in March 2025 this year, where Ghanaian MPs urged counterparts in Côte d'Ivoire and Benin to initiate their own Open Parliament initiative effort that are now showing promising results. In 2022, Ghana's parliament ranked first in Open Parliament Index, which assessed 13 West African legislatures. The inauguration of the Open Parliament Steering Committee and the launch of a new action plan further confirms Parliament's commitment to openness and inclusive governance. Although challenges persist, the strong collaboration between Parliament and CSOs is set to enhance Ghana's standing in open government through co-creation and collective accountability. Right Honourable Speaker, as we commemorate this International Day of Parliamentarianism, let us renew our commitment to upholding the principle of parliamentary democracy. Let us work together to build a more accountable, inclusive, and effective parliament that serves the best interests of all Ghanaians and stands as a beacon of democracy on the African continent and beyond. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Very well. Yes.
Speaker, by way of a guide, if we may take 3-3. Thank you very much.
It will depend on the mood of the House.
Very well, Mr.
So
Speaker.
I may take 1-1, I may take 4-4. Depends on the mood of the House.
Mr. Speaker.
Let me start with Honorable Shaibu.
Mr. Speaker, let me thank you very much for the opportunity and to thank the maker of the statement, our able chairman for the OGP, for this important statement. Indeed, International Day on Parliamentarianism, important role of Parliament. This is a very important statement, and it couldn't have come at a better time. Indeed, the theme is achieving gender equality, action by action. No doubt, earlier in the afternoon, we got a statement, a beautiful statement from the respected deputy leader on women and gender. And I think that this statement dovetails into that. Achieving gender equality, action by action. Now, even though, Mr. Speaker, we have enacted Act 1121 that talks about gender representation, it is important to note that the milestone that has been given, achieving 30% in 2025 and graduating to 50% in 2030, I think that it is quite a slow pace. My humble view is that we should pursue an aggressive method that will take us to 50% in the next 2 years. And I think that with commitment from government and other stakeholders, we can achieve this. Mr. Speaker, gender equity is an important topic in every facet of our daily lives. And I think it is important that women are given the right opportunity. We talked about football a while ago. The last time we got a trophy, Mr. Speaker, was 4 decades ago from football. Perhaps the women, the gender, they will be the ones to bring us the next. And so let's encourage that. Let's move towards achieving 50% in the next 2 years and not in the next 5 years. And I think that together we can fight to get this done. Let me thank the maker of the statement. Indeed, if you look at our current female representation, Mr. Speaker, 14.6% is woefully troubling. 14.6%. And I don't fault the makers when they say we are looking at achieving 30%, because the current status is 14.6. And I think that as a nation, we should work towards getting this done as quickly as possible. 2030 is far too long to achieve a 50%. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Yes. Hold on, let me listen to, yes.
Right, Honorable Speaker, permit me to interrupt the debate and crave your indulgence so that we can lay the report of the Finance Committee and then continue with the debate so that the report can be distributed and then we can take the consequential motions and resolutions. So there's an addendum, order paper.
I don't have.
He doesn't have the addendum. The Speaker doesn't have the addendum. So, order paper addendum, item 1, presentation of instruments by the chairman of the Finance Committee.
Yes, minority leadership.
Mr. Speaker, the majority leader wants to show us his powers today because the way he's interrupting debate to lay papers, I don't know where it is coming from. But Mr. Speaker, even though we don't have difficulty in laying the report, but majority leader shouldn't be interrupting debates at this time to be laying papers. But we have no objection to it. And he should make sure that we have the report available. We haven't seen copies. You could see that you were struggling to even get the other paper addendum and for him to learn. This is, he has been doing that. He will arrest lay bills and other things. So, Mr. Speaker, you should make sure that we have copies, enough copies. While we don't have difficulty, he can go ahead and lay it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. So, who is doing is that honest? The deputy, the chairman. Yes, chairman.
Report of the Finance Committee on the financing agreement between the Government of the Republic of Ghana, represented by the Ministry of Finance, and the International Development Association, IDA, of the World Bank Group for an amount of $360 million United States dollars to finance the second Resilient Recovery Development Policy financing.
Honorable members, the report has been duly presented. It is recommended that the report is distributed to honorable members. So we go back to the statement. Honorable Member Fokre. You may go on with your comment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. And I want to congratulate the maker of the statement. And I think it has come at the right time. We are privileged to be elected by various constituents to be part of this 9th Parliament. And I believe that this 9th Parliament has a rare opportune time to cause rare change. Mr. Speaker, this year, my emphasis on the theme is action by action in terms of achieving gender equality. Mr. Speaker, over so many years, we've all been paying some services to the fact that, and appreciating the fact that we need gender equality. The 8th Parliament did well by passing the Affirmative Act and Gender Equality Act. There's a lot of achievement in terms of establishing the Private Members Bill and Private Members Motion Committee. These are all avenues that will go to deepen the parliamentary oversight and parliamentary policy making. Mr. Speaker, it's important to note that whilst Parliament make policies, the government of the day is tasked to implement those policies. However, we have so many gender-sensitive issues. We have indicated that this year and over 4 years, we intend to put 10 billion cedis into a big push. This big push is supposed to create social infrastructure and alleviate the vulnerable populations, which includes gender. We have also committed to establish the Women Bank. All these policies are supposed to alleviate and upgrade the capacities of women and push them to an equality status. Mr. Speaker, today happens to be 1st July. A lot of initiatives have been earmarked to start from 1st July. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, I've always been making this statement to my colleagues on the other side and my friends. And to borrow a phrase, God in his own wisdom, true Ghanaians have elected an overwhelming majority of parliamentarians. To the extent that this parliament, if indeed is mindful to cause real change, has the capacity to do that without any hindrances. Mr. Speaker, we have 180 plus parliamentarians at the majority side. And I've said it to my friends that Ghanaians should never forgive this parliament if we are able to cause real change. If we are able to play oversight role in terms of, and for the team, enhancing gender issues. Because this is a time that we have a clear majority to be able to implement and walk the talks that we have said. Unfortunately, apart from all the achievement we have done in parliamentarianism, sometimes I, as a young parliamentarian and a first-timer, have always sat here wondering whether we are elected to represent our people as parliamentarians or we are supposed to be mouthpiece of the government. I have asked several questions where documents that ought to be available for proper scrutiny so that members can have informed decisions in enhancing gender equity seems to be rushed through. I have had cause to worry that the commitment, and we are talking about action by action, and that is where, Mr. Speaker, I want to emphasize my statement, that the big push that we sought, particularly to elevate women, 7 months in the lane, we have not seen anything about big push. Mr. Speaker, 7 months down the lane, the Women Bank, which we have touted, we have had nothing to deal with it. And the unfortunate thing is that, Mr. Speaker, once we activate our oversight, like I did indicate in my earlier statement, we have members of parliament who intend to speak for and then intend to question what opportunities, what was done in the past. We have this parliament to hold accountable, to make sure that we are able to implement some of the policies that will enhance gender. And this parliament has a clear majority. And I'm re-emphasizing the fact that Ghanaians will not forgive this parliament if we are unable to cause real change, if we continue to pay lip services to gender issues. On that note, Mr. Speaker, I will congratulate the maker of the statement and indicate that as parliamentarians, we should look more into our oversight responsibility and make sure that we cause real change that becomes spokespersons of government. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Honorable Lydia, Minister of State.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this great statement. And thanks to the maker of this statement that calls for an action to gender equity. When you look at the statement wants to tell us that there are inequities, there are inequalities in the system, and that there should be action, everyday action, to make sure that there is equality in the system. So what are the gender gaps? What calls for the inequalities? One, there are cultural barriers that makes it impossible for women to come into the system. Because in our homes, they will tell you, oh, you are a woman. You are not supposed to do this. Women are not supposed to do that. Culturally, they have already put you at a point that you don't know what to do. Again, we have difficulties in gender mainstreaming. When it comes to gender issues, when you just mention gender, people think that you are talking about the female gender. But that is not the issue. We are the same, and we should work hand in hand. And that at this point, we are expecting the male gender to support the female gender to build our capacity, build our composure, build our system in such a way that when you want to do something, you don't have a problem. Again, there are legislative gaps. For instance, we have the Affirmative Action Act, but it is not operationalized because we don't have the needed legislative instrument. And I think we should work hand in hand with the gender minister to make sure that we bring the legislative instrument to make the Gender Act operational. Again, we need to create that awareness, conscious awareness, that what men can do, women can do better. It has been in the system, it has been a talk shop, but as to whether we are doing it or not, we can't say that at the end of the day, what we say men can do, women can do better is actually in operation. Because just now, our sister mentioned that the female team is in camp to play. How many of the men have gone to visit them to say that, Ayuko, you are doing better? Please encourage the women to do better. There is also another gap, interministerial connection between the gender ministry and other ministries. I think the ministers should work collaboratively to make sure that the gender policies that we are going to put up in this country will support the female gender to thrive very well in society. So what do we need to do? We need to address these policies and put efforts or conscious measures to support the female gender to do what we are supposed to do in society. Again, misinformation and disinformation. When there is a cartoon about a woman who is not well dressed, everybody wants to look at it. When there is something about the woman, everybody wants to look at it. But when it comes to the male, no, that one is normal. Nobody talks about it. Nobody wants to discuss it. we also need to look at misinformation and disinformation, which is making the women want to lag behind, want to sit in their closet. They want to be at home. They don't want to come into the system for people to cartoon them or people to say things that are not good for them to listen. Mr. Speaker, before I sit down, I want us all to understand that when we talk about gender equity, we are not saying that we want to be equal. We just want a space as part of society. We want a space on the table, not to push the men away. So your actions should be tailored towards a situation where you just shift small on the table and we sit. We are not coming to push you away. In this part of our world, let us understand that women are supporting men, and we need that 30% in all the organizations to help you to do your work and do it better. Right, Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Yes, Honorable Member for Kwadaso, Professor Nyako.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to add my voice to the statement on the International Day of Parliamentarianism by the Honorable Member for Ho West and Chairman of the Open Government Partnership, Honorable Emmanuel Kwesi Betra. Mr. Speaker, the theme for this year's celebration is achieving gender equality, action by action. Mr. Speaker, I think that even though we are doing our best to encourage and also to ensure that we get most of our women in government positions or to get them into mainstream politics and other sensitive positions in society, we can do more about that. Looking at our current ratio, male to female ratio, we are talking about 14.6%, which is even lesser than what we recorded during the 8th Parliament. It is worrying, but I also think that as we are progressing or making progress in society, we should have intentional policies and programs that will encourage our female in this society to appreciate and put themselves a bit more forward, to occupy positions within our governance framework. As we speak, the numbers, even as